Let's create a little bit different fun fold. This is called the back bend card. We're going to fold this over. That's going to expose where we write our message. This little fun fold is just going to bring so much joy, and it's really fun to create. I'm going to walk you through it step by step. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's Tuesday tip video. I'm Connie Stewart with SimplySimpleStamping.com. Friends, today I've got a fantastic card. This is just got a really unique little fun fold. We're calling it the back bend card. I'm really excited to teach you how to create this card, so let me showcase the cards for you. How many of you remember doing back bends when you were a kid? I certainly could not be doing one of those today, but my card sure can. And I just think you're going to have a blast creating these cards. Friends, we're going to start with our little bear. This is a brand new stamp set from Stampin' Up. It's called Valentine Kisses, but don't let the Valentine throw you, because we're going to create just a really fun card for the kids. This also has, you can order the sets of dies as well, which I will be using on my card. We are focusing on Stampin' Up's brand new packaging. I love the envelope packaging. And before we jump into the card, I do want to share with you all the supplies and the measurements. Friends, you know, I always love to supply you with a free download that goes along with the video. So you sit back and relax. Don't worry about writing down any measurements. I have them all for you right here. I encourage you to print this out. I do the work, so you don't have to. And if you need to come back and watch the video, it's very simple. Click right here or scan the QR code. As I mentioned, these are brand new stamp sets from Stampin' Up. So if you'd like to order any of these, just follow the link on page 2 of my download. You'll be able to order anything you need right there. Thank you guys so much for your orders. I so appreciate it. With that, let's jump into the first card. Let's do some scoring. I have a piece of crumb cake cardstock. This is 8.5 inches by 5.5 inches. We're going to do some scoring, very simple scoring. We're going to put the 8.5 inches up at the top. We'll score it 1 inch, at 2 inch, and then we're going to scooch it down to 5.25 inches. So we're going to fold the 3.25 inch panel in. And then we're going to fold this end in, and now we're going to do the back bend, and that's this 2 inch score line that we had right here. So we're going to have something like that. This is the area that'll bend, that'll help us open up our card. Now it's a little plain, so I decided to do some embossing. I decided the Forever Plaid just seemed like it would go very well. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that 1 inch panel, and I'm going to put it inside my embossing folder. And you can see I'm just kind of lining up the edges of the folder with my score line. I've got my cardstock kind of tucked all the way in there. I'm going to add my embossing plate 4. We're going to run that through. Remember, we're only embossing that 1 inch section. So you can see we just have a nice little embossed area there. I'm going to come in with some multi-purpose glue here because we've got that embossed area. It kind of has a lot of raised surface area, so it's a little harder to get that to adhere down in place. I'm going to give it just a really nice back rub. I really want that to be adhered down well. So we should have something like that. You see that's going to be there on the right side of our card. Now I went ahead in advance and I have a 3 inch. I had to double check myself. 3 inches by 5.25. We're going to add that to the front panel. I have 3 pieces of cardstock. I have an early espresso that is 3.5 by 3.5. I have a pecan pie that is a 3.25 by 3.25, and a basic white 3 by 3. But I decided I'm going to get a little crafty with this piece of pecan pie. I love to conserve my layers. So I've got my early espresso ink pad. I am going to stamp the teddy bear right there in the middle. While I'm at it, I've got just a little scrap here of some crumb cake. This one was a 1 3/4 by 2 3/4, but just a little scrap. And I'm going to stamp the bear that's hugging. because you can see when you die cut that bear, it die cuts a little slot right up at the top of the bottom of the arms. So we can tuck all kinds of little fun things inside. And we're going to tuck that teddy bear. We will grab our dies. So I will die cut the teddy bear. And you know what? Really quickly, before I die cut the bear, I'm just going to do a little quickie Stampin' Blend work. Nothing fancy. I'm just going to use the light crumb cake, and I'm going to color in the nose and just this little bit here on the ears. So I've got base plate 1, thin die adapter 2, and a cutting plate 3. I can run both of these through at the same time. So we'll just get our dies set. I'll add another cutting plate 3. We'll run those through our machine. And now you can see I'll just tuck in the bear from the bottom up through the top. And we're just giving that a big old bear hug. So adorable. So we're going to take that pecan pie. We're going to layer that on the early espresso. And then I have a 3x3 basic white. But before I adhere this down, we're going to do a little stamping in early espresso. And we're going to stamp here. I'm going to stamp it up at the corner at an angle, bear hugs and kisses. And now in our real red, we've got some little kisses. So let's add a couple kisses here and a couple right there. Oh, how about one more just for fun. So that's going to cover up our little bear die cut. No one will ever know we did that. And we're going to add this bear. We're going to give just a little bit of lip. So how about some Stampin' Dimensionals? The other benefit of using Stampin' Dimensionals is I can secure that bear with the little teddy bear, I should say, with a Stampin' Dimensional. And so that's not going anywhere. That kind of helps. We'll remove the backings, and then we can add our sweet bear right there. All right, let's bring in our card, and let's do some stamping here on the inside. In early espresso, we will say, giving you a big smooch, and then back in with a few more of our kisses. We're now going to adhere that on to the right side. So there is our back bend panel. And now I'm ready to show you how we're going to adhere our bear. So we need to put adhesive here in the middle, and we need something really, really strong. Again, we've got that embossed area. So I'm going to use tear and tape, but we're going to cut off a couple pieces. We don't need them quite as long as our focal image, but I'm going to put 2 pieces, and we're going to line those up right next to each other. So I'll put another piece about right here. Again, it's a good, strong adhesive, and I don't want my bear going anywhere. All right, we can remove our backings here. And now I can take my focal image. I'm going to put mine right here in the middle. And by the way, can you see I'm right up against that tape? That's going to help me center that up. We'll give that a good press right there. Let's add just a little fun piece of ribbon. I'm going to use the irregular weave. This is a really fun ribbon to work with. So I created just a simple little bow. I'm going to take a mini glue dot. I'm going to press the center of my bow right on to the mini glue dot. And I'm going to add that bow down here in the corner so it still stays very masculine. So I think this card would be great for boys or for girls. Bear hugs and kisses, giving you a big smooch. So if you've got grands or you've got littles, maybe you even have big littles, and that's okay too, because I think this card is just perfect. All right, I'm excited to share my second card with you, and this is a really fun birthday card. Don't forget to grab your free download that goes along with today's video. Friends, you'll have all your measurements, so when you're ready to recreate the back bend card, everything is right there at your fingertips. You will find your free download at simplysimplestamping.com. Look for the November 18th, 2025 blog post. So these can be Oreos, they can be ice cream sandwiches, they can be macarons, they can be whoopie pies, right? They've got so many different things, but I thought they were so fun. And this says make a wish, added some really fun little dots there. We've got some birthday candles. Guys, this card is created with another new set from Stampin' Up called Cake Day. Such a fun set. Look at all of these great images. By the way, it makes great cake as well, but I really kind of wanted to focus today on those fun cookies. I'm a cookie fanatic, so I think that's why I was kind of drawn to these. So we're going to be using the dies and the stamp set. Just like before, I'm going to be using Pretty in Pink. Remember, that was 8.5 by 5.5. We scored at 1 inch, 2 inch, and 5 1/4. And you see here, I've already done that embossing. This time, I chose the eyelet embossing folder. Now, this one has to go in a little bit different, so I'm just going to kind of show you. This one, you're going to do it from the side, and you're going to run it through your machine this way, all right? Normally, we always want to try to put the seam through the machine, but occasionally we do have to turn some things around. So this one will be going in sideways. All right, so I've got that. Let's go ahead and adhere that down. I have another piece of the basic white 3 by 5 1/4. I ran that through the embossing folder as well. So we're going to adhere that to the front of the card. Let's do some stamping. So I have, this is just a little scrap. It's about a 1.5 by 2 inch. Let's make some birthday candles. So I've got some early espresso ink, and I'm just going to stamp these little, we're going to decorate our candles is what we're doing here. So I just started there in the middle, and then I'll stamp on either side. I'll bring in the dies and look at these adorable candles. All right, we are going to place that right there in the middle. I'm going to run that through my die cutting machine. And there we go. So I just thought those little dots, they gave some real personality to our candles. All right, we're done with that. Now let's create some whoopie pies, Oreos, ice cream sandwiches, whatever you need it to be. I have an early espresso 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. Remember on our last card how we hid our layers? We're going to do that again here. So I actually need 6 whoopie pies. So I'm going to die cut from the center. I'm going to do 2 here. This is a scrap. This is a 1 inch by 5.5 inch, and this is the cream filling. And I'm going to need 6 of these. So when you're cutting these, make sure you're not too close to the edge. We are going to be covering that, but we want it to stay hidden. So I'm going to run these through my die cut and emboss machine, and then we're going to repeat this 2 more times. All right, so we're going to take this piece, and as I said, no one will ever know what we did underneath. I've got a 3.5 by 3.5 Pretty in Pink. We'll layer this. Remember, we're going to cover this up. So let's go ahead. We'll do some stamping on our last piece. This is a 3 by 3. I'm going to bring in some Daffodil Delight. And we're going to add some sparkle to our candle. So I'm going to stamp one up at the very top. I'm going to stamp 2 more, and I'm going to bring them down just a little bit. We will adhere this over those die cuts. And now we can add our 3 candles. Just a little bit of multi-purpose glue there. I'll add the one in the center. And then these 2 on the side, we're going to kind of angle them just a little bit. So we will have this one come about right there, and the other one there. Okay, let's create our Oreos. So this rounded part is going to go through this little slot. Okay, so it's just going to go right through there. That's going to let our cream filling show. So you can see, let me put it right there so you can kind of see it. Now we're going to do 4 of these, and we're going to put a Stampin' Dimensional on the back to hold it in place. So when we hit it right there, that cream filling is not going anywhere. So again, like I said, we're going to do 4 of them with Stampin' Dimensionals. The other 2, we want them to just adhere in place. So let me go ahead. We'll get these Remaining 3 done. Now keep in mind, this filling could be any color, right? We could get creative. We could maybe use a little pecan pie if you wanted something maybe with a more like mocha filling. You could make it pink filling. That would be really pretty. So get creative on those colors. But I don't know. I was in an Oreo mood, I guess. We're going to place the first one down here at the bottom. Don't worry about the candles. We're going to be hiding those. So I'm going to line 3 of these up here at the bottom because we're going to make a little tower. Now we're going to take the ones with no Stampin' Dimensionals and just a little bit of glue, and we're going to put these right up above. So those are going to be flat, and then our last one that has the Stampin' Dimensional, we are gonna top it off. So cute. Friends, we're ready to add this to the front of our card, but you know what? Let's get some stamping on the inside. So we're gonna say, make a wish. And I'm going to stamp that up here at the top, but I'm gonna bring it over to the right side. We're gonna do that in Daffodil Delight because I'm gonna come back in with those great dots that we used on our candle. Remember that? We'll just stamp these just down the side. Remember, this was a 3 by 5 1/4 basic white. It just looks so fun with those little sprinkles going down the side. All right, so it's time to add our fantastic focal image. Remember the trick that we did with the Terran tape. So I'm going to put a piece right up to that edge. Let's add another one. And remember, we want these almost touching. All right, we want them right next to each other. We are ready to remove the backings. I like to use my take your pick tool just to kind of help lift that paper, especially when it is on embossed. Whenever that area is embossed, it can make it a little bit trickier. All right, friends, we're going to take our focal image. We're going to give that a good press. Let's add another pretty and pink bow. I'll press that onto the mini glue dot. This one I'll put up here in the upper left corner. And there we go. It's just such a fun card. And this, it's really making me hungry. Friends, I hope you were inspired by today's cards, and I hope that you will give the back bend card a little try. It's an easy, simple little fold. And by the way, this focal image, I chose squares. If you wanted to do some shape dies, if you wanted to do circles, if you wanted to do some of the more label dies, get creative with the image that you put right there. But I just got so excited with the brand new stamp sets, Valentine Kisses, and Cake Day. Very fun new stamp sets from Stampin' Up. These are online exclusives. Get them while they're still there. Friends, I hope that you'll give these cards a try because they are so much fun. I love that you guys join me every Tuesday. Thank you. Hey, if you like today's video, a thumbs up on YouTube would be so appreciated. And if you haven't subscribed, why not become a subscriber? Click that subscribe button. And if you ring the bell, YouTube will let you know whenever I'm back with another video. Hey, if you love paper crafting and you want more, be sure to click the join button. Learn a little bit more about my YouTube memberships. We have some amazing perks over there, and I'd love for you to be a part. It's a ton of fun. We have some special exclusive stamping lined up for you guys. Well, with that, thank you all so much for being here. I so appreciate you. Have a fantastic day, and I can't wait to stamp with you on the next video. See you then. Bye-bye.